Hi guys, before this video starts, I'd like to say thank you for all your support and all your thank you messages and just the amount of kind of support you guys just have had for me. It's genuinely amazing and I appreciate every single comment, every single like, even every single person who just watches the video. I really appreciate it. Anyway, I'm pretty much all fine now. I've recovered and I'm feeling okay. I was just kind of annoyed because I couldn't really get working on stuff, so I hope you guys like this video and I won't waste any of your time, so let's start the video. Hi guys, Zyger here, welcome back to another video. Before we start, I want to apologise, my voice kind of sounds a bit weird. I was just ill, so all of that happened, and I'll talk about that at the end of the video. Either way, welcome back to another Awoken Devlog, and today I'm going to be doing quite exciting stuff, in all honesty. So, I get a lot of comments asking whether I want to change the my player, and whether I want to change the attack system and stuff like that, and I decided that basically I'm going to change the player. I want the game to have a better feel to it, because previously what would happen is once you get an item and you select it, so like a weapon, for example, I don't know, a wooden sword, it would basically display on your character and then you would be able to attack with it, and it wouldn't look right because it didn't fit in the character's hands. It would also look weird when you run or roll, and basically it just didn't feel right and it didn't have the best game feel. And on the screen you can kind of see some of it right now, kind of pre-recorded it. Either way, it didn't feel right and I wanted the game to feel right. The reason for this is it's really important to make a game feel nice, because the nicer it feels and the more responsive the controls are, the more you'd want to play it. And I, in all honesty, didn't like the attack system at all, and I didn't want to play the game because of it. And even if your game has a good storyline, which basically can probably carry your game, it's still not ideal to have an unresponsive control system and having a bad game feel. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, basically redesigning the character and changing the attack system to make it more kind of responsive and make the game feel nicer. So I started doing some of this already, and I'll show you what I have actually done. So the first thing I actually did is I went into my sprites and into my items, and I actually only included these 4 items. Basically, I'm changing the whole kind of attack system so there only be 4 different weapons. So there's not going to be different variations of these weapons, but there will be upgrades that you can add later in the games. So instead, I'm going to do it this way so I can have completely different animations for everything, and so it looks nice. The next thing I did is I went back to my old attack system, which basically kind of was driven upon the combo system. So in my script here I have attack 1, 2 and 3, and basically we can just ignore this 4 because this is really old and it's no longer functioning. Anyway, we have this 1, 2 and 3 state, attack system state, and this basically means combos. So I've added this little combo thing here, which checks if you're at the end of your animation and you attack again, you will have a combo. So basically added this back in, and it's very simple, and I might actually do a tutorial on this if you guys would like one. Continuing on, there's a couple other things I did. So in the actual items, I removed all the O spear, O sword and O mace weapons, and now we only have one weapon called O weapon eternum. This basically is the same code that I had previously. I just basically changed some image indexes here. So this basically just randomized the image index currently, has this anchor, Y and frequency and amplitude and timer. This is so that it bobs up and down. But this thing basically determines what it is, and it's just random, and this is what we had previously, so it will come towards the player. Anyway, so I was able to remove all of that, which kind of makes it even better, because now I don't have an item for each weapon, which was really annoying and inconvenient. Anyway, so I'll show you what I also, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to show you this. So in the move state where I have everything, in this bit of the attack, basically what happens is this checks if the player attacks, so if you input attack, which is left click at the moment, and your inventory isn't open, and the global weapon sword is 1, then it does this attack stuff. And the way this works, basically, is on the player. In this draw event, I've basically can check if this item has been created, whatnot. And I'll probably put this in the step event now that I'm not drawing it anymore. And basically what happens is it says global weapon sword to 0. So I created these variables currently just for the sword, axe and bow, because I don't know if I'm going to keep the mace or if I'm going to have a different weapon. And basically what will happen is if you're holding the sword, this will change to a 1. If you're holding an axe, the axe will change to a 1, and if you're holding a bow, it'll change to a 1 for the bow, and then I can basically check what weapon I'm holding. Anyway, the reason for this is so that we have different animations for the different weapons. So now I'm going to show you what it's like in the game. So we are in the game and we got a weapon here. So if I go ahead and pick it up and I try and attack without having it selected, I can't actually attack. I'm pressing my mouse and I can't actually attack. So if I go ahead and select it though, you can see my damage changes, which we had previously, but I can now attack. And I'm actually attacking with a sword, and it feels a lot better and it looks a lot nicer than how it did before, where it would just draw the item. So it feels more responsive because I can now actually like properly attack, and it's quite cool. And if I'm not holding it, I can't do that. And basically what I'm going to add is if you're holding the axe, you're going to have a completely different animation. If you're holding a bow, you're going to have a bow animation. And then the mace or a different weapon, I don't know what, you're going to have a complete different animation. These are what the 4 slots are for. And in case of the inventory, I'm still going to keep it. This is just going to be for like health potions and stuff if I want to use them. And for food and other stuff like that to heal me. Other than that, that's basically sort of what I'm going to do. And I'm going to be working on changing the character and the attack system right now. So I'll be back in a bit once I get really working on it. It's going to be a lot of work, so I don't know when this video is going to come out. I also want to do some changes in the like UI, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that today because it's a lot of work I've got to do right now. So if not, I'll probably just do it on stream or in another video. Anyway, I'll be back in a bit once I create some sprites, and yeah, I'll be back. Hi guys, so I am back and quite a few changes have been made. So I'm going to go over the changes, show you them, and then I'm going to show you the code and how I basically made it work. So the first thing that I did is I got a suggestion literally yesterday, because it's now the other day, well sorry, the next day. And they told me that I should basically blur the background and put like a little overlay or something on it, because then it's going to make the player stand out. So that's what I did. As you can see, the mountains and the kind of clouds in the background are slightly blurred. And now I don't know if I'm going to blur the trees as well, like these ones here. I also went ahead and applied this sort of like bluish tinted overlay with like an opacity of 20 or something. Anyway, I went ahead and also created the animation for all of the different weapons. So I created an animation for an axe, the bow and a sword. And I'm going to have a 4th weapon, but I don't know what that's going to be yet, so I haven't actually created that. So let's go ahead and pick up these items and I'll show you how it works. Okay guys, so I am back. Sorry about this, I had a little bug, had to just fix it up a bit. Anyway, time to show you the animations. So when you hold the sword, you basically have this animation, and this sword actually has a combo. So you've got the first attack, which is just this, then you have the second attack, which is like a slice down, and then you had the third attack where he like puts it like, you know, thrusts forward or whatnot. Anyway, so these are the kind of 3 attacks, so you can combo them, you don't have to, you can just simply like swing. And then we have the axe. So the axe only has 1 attack, so there is no combo for the axe, but there we go, that was a glitch. I'm gonna have to fix that bug. Anyway, this is the animation for the axe. Simple little swing like so. And then we have the bow. So for the bow, I'm still working and there is no arrow currently, so it's just an animation, which is this. He brings out a bow and he shoots it. Anyway, the kind of main reason why I did this is because I feel like the game feel of the game is a lot nicer. Now I know how stupid that sounds right now, but before, when the item was just drawn on, it wasn't very interactive and it wasn't like satisfying to actually hit an enemy. So I figured if I do it this way, and yeah, there are quite few bad things about it, it limits the amount of items I can do. I mean, I could try and add a few more items and whatnot, but I think I'm going to stick to 4. But what it does do is it makes the game feel like a lot nicer and responsive and whatnot, because then you can actually kind of like see this animation is quite a lot nicer. And I am having a little glitch here, which I'll fix in a minute anyway, but I just personally think it's just not a lot nicer anyway. So you guys can tell me what you think in the comments down below, but I think this is quite a nice addition and quite a nice change. And in terms of regarding with the way the player is going to look, I think I'm going to change the way he looks. I'm not sure about that just yet. I do kind of want to play around with it, and I haven't had that much time today, or like recently, to kind of play around with it because I was ill. Anyway, probably over the next couple of streams or so, or maybe videos, I will be kind of slowly trying to change the character while working on other things. Also, just a quick little thing, I've been having a lot of hard time to try and kind of keep up with everything. And I think it's because I don't have straight sort of like goals and things that I want to work on. So what I did is I went ahead and went on a website called Trello, which allows you to kind of like map out things to do. And I think that's going to help me a lot because I can then see sort of what I need to do, things that I need to get going on and stuff. And basically, if I have any ideas, I can write it down on there and keep sort of track of it, because recently I've been having kind of hard time trying to figure out what else I need to do, and there's a lot of stuff to do, so it's gonna be a long process. Anyway, I also got loads of comments about the barrels, like not fitting in and stuff, and I completely agree about some of the sprites not fitting in. And I will be trying to change them, probably out of stream, because I don't want to like basically dedicate a time in the video where I basically just change a barrel, even though it needs to be changed. Anyway, enough talking and like blabbing on. I'm going to show you how I basically made this combo system and the weapon system work. So we are now in Game Maker, and I'm going to show you how it works. So the first thing I went ahead and did is, on my main player, I have this on the draw event. I still need to move it to the step event. The reason it's on the draw event is because I used to have it where it would draw the sprite or whatnot. Anyway, currently what happens basically is I just have this. Now the way this works is this basically is going to check that if the item key, so if the item that I have selected is an Eternum sword, it's going to change my strength to 20, and it's going to set this global variable weapon sword 1 to true. And I'll show you what that does. And basically then this is just copied the same for the axe, but this time it changes the global.weapon axe to true. And then for the bow it's just global.weapon bow true. All this other stuff here is just, it's checking if it's been created, and it's just changing the strength depending if you're holding it or not. But the whole kind of gist of it is that it changes this variable when the weapon is selected. This is so that I can later see if it's selected, and I can check if it's selected. So on my skeleton move state, basically I have this attack, and this basically checks if I input attack, so I've got that set in my input script, which for my case is left click, and the inventory is int open, so inventory open equals false. Then what it does is it basically checks if global weapon sword is 1, so that means if the sword is selected, then go ahead and change the state to the attack 1 state. So that's my attacks for the weapon, for the sword, sorry. But if the weapon is actually an axe, change the state to skeleton attack axe 1 state. And then once again, same thing, if the bow is selected, it's going to change it just to the bow state. Now regarding the states, I'm going to show you how they are done. They're very simple. The most complicated out of all of them is the sword because of the combos. So I'm going to show you the axe first. So for the axe, we've got it very simply. It sets the sprite to S skeleton attack axe 1. So this is the animation that I've created, and I'll show you, which you've seen. I can show you that in a minute. And then it does damage. So basically, this checks if the animation hit frame is created. So this basically means I would check, so when I have my like sprite, after the first like swing has happened, which for me is image index of 0, basically make the damage. So it plays that sound, and then it creates a damage object, which is attack 2 damage. Now I need to actually create a separate attack damage for the axe, but I've currently just used the same one as the sword. And then basically the end state is very simple. It basically checks if the animation has ended, change the state back to the move state, and set this variable back to 0. Now I'm going to have to kind of play around with this in a moment, but that's it. Now for the bow, it's literally exactly the same. The only thing that I changed in here is obviously I changed the sprite. The animation hit frame is different in this scenario. I also changed the global weapon bow to now equal false, and other than that, I also removed the damage object, because the damage object is going to be a separate like item itself, because it's going to be an arrow, which I haven't created yet. And then in terms of the sword, this is a free combo state, and I can do a tutorial on it if you guys liked me to show you how to do combos. But basically what it does is literally the same thing. It changes the state to the attack 1, creates a damage object, and this is just the combo, which checks if the animation hit rounded frame is 2, 3, and if I'm still attacking. And I will do a tutorial on that if you guys really want to, more in depth, and sort of show you how you can create this in your own kind of project. And then if you don't combo, it just ends the attack basically. All of the other things, like all of the other states, are basically the same thing. I'll just change some values here and there to kind of make it fit. And the animations are just basically here. So I've got the sword 1, obviously, which you've seen, which is just kind of this animation. Then we have like 3, and then yeah, 2 and whatnot. And in terms of the animation hit kind of frame, basically this is the one where it does damage, because when it swings down, that's when I want it to do damage. But basically it's very simple, and I'm sorry for kind of going on, but I figured I'd show you guys how it's actually been made so you guys can have a look and whatnot. And then in terms of the blur, it was very simple to do this. I basically just took the mountains and straight up just blurred them in the editor. And then I also created a screen blur, which is just a nice kind of tinted bluish kind of blur thing. So that's about it for this video. Thank you so much for your support, guys, because genuinely you've been amazing recently, and the amount of support, and not even recently, just this whole time that I've been on YouTube, you guys have been really helpful, supported. And thank you everyone for all of your kind of thank you messages, because it really means a lot. I was ill and I didn't enjoy it, obviously it was terrible, but the main reason why I didn't enjoy it is because I couldn't kind of get working on things because I was so ill. Anyway, thank you for everything as well. May I point out, we were literally on 1.5k subscribers 3 days ago. Now we're on 1.65k, so we earned 150 new viewers since like 3 days ago. So hello to everyone who is new. Hope you're having a good day. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. I know this video is kind of long, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.